fans view this evening. There is a bit of breaking news tonight. Gustaf Lagger has officially left Celtic FC. Yep, Gustaf Lagger, a player that I had high hopes for. Celtic have released the statement saying Gustaf Lagger has joined Portuguese side Braga on a permanent deal, and everyone at Celtic wishes him every success with his new club. The 25-year-old who's been capped 3 times by Sweden, joined Celtic back in August 2023 from Elfsborg. He made his debut that month against Kilmarnock, and he made 10 first-team appearances for the Hoops in that season. The defender, who went out on loan to Dutch side FC Twente, also scored his only goal against Dutch opposition, a dramatic last-minute winner against Feyenoord in the Champions League back in December 2023. Everyone at Celtic thanks Gustaf for his contribution to the club, and we wish him every success in the future. Gustaf Lagger then took to Instagram before Celtic released the statement. He went to Instagram an hour ago saying, "I want to thank you for the last 2 seasons, to all the players I've had the privilege to get to know and share the pitch with, to the staff who have always been there and who I learnt a lot from. And it's a big thank you to you, the supporters, for always being there and for the team and for making this club so special. I wish you all the best of the luck in the future and that Glasgow continues to be green and white. Hail, hail." That is the statement from Gustaf Lagger this evening. He has left the building. And you've got to say, I think that Stephen Welsh has played his last game for Celtic, hasn't he? Stephen Welsh captained the side tonight, the second half. Some may say that he was at fault for the goal. And then he gets an injury to his shoulder again. And he's had injuries with that arm before. And he went off the pitch holding his head in his hands, knowing that pre-season is over for him. Can Celtic get him off the books completely and get him gone? Well, not with an injury. So it looks like Stephen Welsh will be at Celtic until at least the next transfer window. I can't see him taking part in any games in the immediate future. Obviously, we'll need to see how bad the injury is, but it generally keeps him out for a couple of months, if it's anything like the one before. And my heart goes out to Stephen, really. He's a nice lad. He's a good lad, but you can see that he was devastated because he knows it's not just his future at Celtic that this injury may have buggered up. Any possible transfer move away this summer may have just ended tonight on the pitch, and that's probably the real reason that he was really upset. And he will know. He will know that it's going to be a difficult time for him as a player. Taking away the side of is he good enough for Celtic or whatever. I mean, I don't really want to go on about that. For Stephen Welsh, I think that it is the end of his Celtic career, but I think that it's also hindered the fantastic opportunity that he would have had this summer, because let's face it, he got some good game time in last season when he was out on loan. And so but other than that, Celtic won the cup, but they didn't get the cup because the Irish young team, the fans, decided to go on the pitch. Yes, we're going on the pitch, they're never going to believe us, they're never going to believe us, and then woofed onto the pitch. Big up the young team. Let's talk about our 250 grand signing, Inamura. And I'm pretty much agreeing with a lot of the comments. Inamura looked decent backup to Kieran Tierney. We'll say that. He isn't going to be backup to Kieran Tierney, but he played the Greg Taylor role quite well tonight. There was a couple of times that I thought he could have tried to go forward with the ball rather than give it back the way to the defenders. You want your full-backs to be taking on players. But other than that, one of the crosses you put in, you've got to say, for a player that's not as experienced as the like of the one we've just lost, that was a fantastic cross. Pity there was nobody there to put it in the back of the net. Other than that, it was what I said it would be. It was a typical pre-season game, wasn't it? The first half, nothing to write home about until I decided to go to the toilet and Luke McCown sticks one in the back of the net. Typical. Absolutely typical. And second half was a complete change of team, and you could tell that it was a younger team. There's I was bored to fuck what it's not. It says Jim. Yeah, I've got to admit, I almost fell asleep in the first 5 minutes of the game. I was sleeping before. I crashed out for 5 minutes before the game. Put the recliner settee in full recline mode, and then the Doug jumped up beside me, and it was like, fuck, I'm going for a kip. I should have just slept through the whole match. Someone's raging with the news I've heard over Mateus. Why? Celtic never made any contact with Brøndby about Mateus this summer. They dropped their interest in him, and my dad fell asleep 15 minutes in. Well, I was almost there. The fact that I had a wee cat nap, I got shouted at, "Are you going to get up and watch this game?" Me and the Doug's lying on the couch getting at Big Zeds. But yeah, maybe it was maybe a game that quite a few of us could have just went to sleep for. Because let's face it, the players and the team, I wonder if all the team and all the B team squad are heading to Portugal. Peter Grant let it slip that the players, that all the staff are now heading to Portugal straight away. They're not going back to Glasgow, they are heading to Portugal. It'll be interesting to know how many of the young team are going to Portugal. Because if they are, I can't see them. Surely Brendan's going to start focusing now on, I mean, you're not going to take such a big squad over there with all those B team players. I was playing FIFA while we're pumping that lot. Norwich picked out a 6.9 million, but why? Celtic, they wanted more. Celtic went in with an offer around about, I'm not wanting to go on about kids fucking Mateus. The way that I see it is that Celtic dropped their interest in him in January and they decided to move on. Anyway, so we move on. The camera views at the game. Yeah, how was Inamura? Inamura was good. He had half a game. I thought Inamura was decent. He's work in progress, but he could potentially be good backup to Kieran Tierney at the left back area. He's not a left back. He is a left-sided defender. But yeah, he was good. His passing range was good. He passed back too many times for me. You're wanting him to go forward. You want your full-backs to always go forward. I mean, could you think of Jackie McNamara going back the way? Never. Do you know, you think of some of the full-backs that we've had at Celtic, your full-backs are always bombing forward. This nonsense now that a full-back gets to the halfway line and turns around and passes it back to the defenders, it's never a Celtic thing. And one thing that I did notice at the game, we seemed to change to a 4-4-2 at certain points during the game. With the fact that Brendan Rodgers is trying to bring in more players that can play and double up as strikers, do you think that Celtic may be going to change formation to 4-4-2? To 4-4-2? Don't know. Feigning injury more worse every time he gets it, makes a few mistakes. Do you think that he does that? Inamura makes Roberto Carlos look like Mo Camara. Yeah, there was some of the young boys are good, but let's be honest. Let's be honest here. while some of the younger players looked good, they're not champing on the door, knocking the door down, Kieran Tierney style to get a first team game, are they? They're not at that level, which is disappointing for some of them. Danny McGregor wants to have a word with the fullbacks, Baz. Yeah, he does. He would tell them about. Could you imagine if Jock Stein, if any player, any fullback at Jock Stein's era decided to pass the ball backwards when they were still in the Celtic half? He would have went them through them like a... anyway, Celtic B team could have made a few. Slide players could have considered the thousands of travelled over. Lots of money. A bit of an insult. I don't think there was thousands that went over. I think there was a lot of Irish with Celtic tops on. But I mean, is it an insult? It's the second. You've always got to remember that the first 2 games of pre-season. I'm going to wait to see how many of these youngsters actually travel over to Portugal, because I don't think that they will. And if they do, it's a waste of time. If you're going to take all the B team players over to Portugal, it's a complete waste of time. Brendan needs to start focusing. And now's the time to start focusing on the first team players, the players that you're bringing in. 1 or 2 prospects from the B team that are going to be in and around the squad possibly. I mean, what these last 2 games have done to Brendan and the backroom staff is say, right, well, maybe that this player's ready to start being involved with the first team. They're not going to get many games, but they're maybe being in and around training with the first team. They're at that point in their development where putting them out on loan's not going to do them any good. That's just going to give them game time. I don't think they'll progress as players. There's too many players that, yes, they have matured, they have grown in stature, they've grown in physicality, but they were still too timid. For if you want to really show the manager of the first team that you are ready to step up, I don't think that there was. I mean, let's talk about Osmond. Let's talk about Callum Osmond. He's not a first start Celtic player. I'm sorry. I mean, Osmond had that. He had that one shot, and it was a B team player shot. It was a B team player shot at goal. I think that Daniel Cummins would have had a better effort on goal. I think Daniel Cummins is a better player than Callum Osmond, and I'm being honest with that. It's just my opinion, right enough. But tell me what you think about Osmond, because I didn't think that he definitely shown that he's of the same standard as some of these B team players, and I can now understand why Brendan Rodgers and co are looking for first team starts and players that can play in multiple positions. Felt for Welsh, honestly, he's not had any luck with those shoulder injuries, says Paul. Yeah, I said that at the beginning. I think that he's a player that has maybe kicked his last ball for Celtic. I think that when he went off disappointed, I think that he knows that he's maybe mucked up an opportunity to get a move this summer. I mean, all his agent would have said, look, do your best with Celtic, and if it comes up, we'll get you a decent move and you'll get first team games. You'll go and play football. It's what you want. And I think that the real agony in his face was not the injury. You know, the injury, he knows he'll be able to sort that, but it's the opportunity that he's now lost this summer, and he knows he's going to be stuck on the sidelines of Celtic until the next transfer window, which is it's a shame for him. It is a shame for him. But he played Donny Osmond, but I can't be judged for the boy played like Donny Osmond. I'm going to start calling him Donny Osmond. But anyway, it was nothing to write home about, was it? The breaking news, obviously, is Gustaf Lagger has left Celtic. It is official. And Inamura, I thought he was good. I'll go through some of the other players. I knew it. There was talk. This is why he's devastated. There was talk of Welsh getting a move this summer. Oh man, it's not the first time he's had that injury, Stephen Welsh, and it is that injury that's going to hinder him at Celtic and going forward. Anyway, let's talk about the keepers. Sinisalo does what Sinisalo. I mean, he's our next keeper after when Kasper Schmeichel leaves. The player that's a little bit older than him that came back to Celtic. Everyone that went to does everyone go back to the stadium to greet the team? Oh dear. Maybe Callum will be better surrounded by more first team players. Nah, Michelle, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. I don't think that he's not the standard that will get 20 games. He's not the standards that's going to come in and do an Adam Ida and get 20 games for Celtic. I didn't see enough from him. You know, I can remember seeing Callum McGregor play half a game years and years ago, and you seen that hunger, and you know there was something, that spark in him. You seen it in Kieran Tierney as well. You know, there's players that you can see when they get their chance, they take the opportunity. If that was him taking his opportunity, and maybe it was like maybe Brendan Rodgers and the staff have went, you know, just get in there and just you know, it's about your journey. We know you're not expecting to be in and around the first team every single week. You know, you're here to improve and get better as a player, and then progress into the first team. So it's going to be an interesting one. Trusty, I thought, had a good first half when he played. He made a cracking block and tackle. Trusty cemented his place in the first team. Luke McCown. Luke McCown's a wonder with me, because he was the first sort of 5-10 minutes of the game. He just you're expecting, as an older member of the squad in games like this, for him to sort of grab the game by the balls, but he didn't until he scored that goal, obviously. So it was a hard watch. It always is. James Forrest nearly scoring again the first half. I had to remind myself about that. James Forrest was all over the pitch at one point. I mean, he was the one that was. If there was anyone on that pitch the first half that was a standout, I would say it was James Forrest. You know, you could see that he was the older, experienced player, and he was more hungry than anybody. And I think James Forrest he's like, I'm in the last year of my contract. Rodgers, you're not forgetting me this season. I think James Forrest is going to give Brendan Rodgers a major headache this season, because it doesn't matter who we bring in, player wise. I think if any player that comes in on the wing for Celtic this summer, if they've not got the hunger that James Forrest has got, James Forrest is starting the game before you, mate. And I don't care who you are, and I don't care how much you cost. James Forrest will make sure in training that everybody knows he's there, and he's shown that tonight. Forrest is like our Modric. He is, isn't he? Yeah, he is. When you think about it, he just goes on forever. I mean, you could actually get Forrest getting to the end of this season and Celtic going, do you know what? Do you want another year, James? Do you want to play another year? Just because the players that we've got are just they can't lace your boots, mate. Do you know? And it's James Forrest is like your Modric. He will not give up. Will not give up the hunger, and that's what you want as players. That's what you want as a manager. You want somebody that you know is shouting for the ball, that will make the runs, and you know that will still mix it up, still try and hit goals and jazz. and want to a tiny left back with another tiny left back. I hope not. Macau played but didn't impress. Yeah, there's a lot of the younger players didn't grab the opportunity. They didn't grab the opportunity. The only player 45 minutes I get through, I'm not going to give him a chance. If he's got the legs, you'd give it to him 100%. Yeah, you've got to give it to 100%. John, the truck driving legend, is in the house. Why don't we put Forrest the 10 beside the Tati and have Benji boy on the wing? Because James Forrest is the game. You would take too much away from James Forrest. James Forrest cutting in for the wing, even at his grand old age of 34, he can. Players don't know what he's going to do. Do you know, they don't know if he's going to run in, then cut back inside to go cutting on the left or the right, or if he's going to keep on going on the left hand side and then take a shot. He's just too clever. Forrest is their own Mr. Jingles. Liam Miles says we need to get first team players in. A lot of the first team players, well, they weren't even given a chance tonight, an opportunity, were they? I mean, when you look at that starting 11, the starting 11, Sinisalo, Donovan, Trusty, Murray, Inamura, McGregor, Engels, Macau and Summers. I think it was, the first half was set up to see how good Summers was going to be, and whilst he was okay, he didn't set the header on fire. Donovan, yep, he's a good player in the making. Will he be around at Celtic long enough to... Dane Murray, he did okay. He'll give Brendan Rodgers some options. The rest speak for himself. Johnny Kenny, I've got a funny feeling that Celtic, if they got offered £1 million for Johnny Kenny, they may just take it. A game like that, you're wanting them to... I mean, you could always say that he never really got any service tonight, Johnny Kenny, but second game of pre-season, bit rusty, could you say? We'll wait and see. It is going to be a long transfer window. I mean, we're only on the 8th of July. And we'll see what happens next. Where am I going here? Oh, yep. So the next game for Celtic is this weekend. And it is a game over in Portugal. Celtic, as I said, the Celtic win the Super Cup, the Cork Super Cup, and they never got the presentation on the pitch because the fans went on the pitch and just didn't bother coming off. The next game is in 3 days, 23 hours and 59 minutes, 59 minutes in Portugal. So that'll be an interesting one. We need to get as many of the first team back as possible for that. I think this will be the start of it, because I mean you've only got four pre-season games now. You know, the testing of the team, is done. Is it until James's next testimonial? The Cork Cup, the Adidas Cup, domestic treble, the Champions League. What a season we have before us. Do you think that we'll win the Adidas Cup against Newcastle? I think by the time we get to the Newcastle game, Newcastle will have all their a picture up of McGregor with the trophy. Yeah, another one in the cabinet. Have they put it on Twitter? Have they? Since the fans never got to see him getting it on the pitch, because it was mayhem, wasn't it? It was just mayhem, complete mayhem after it. Absolute complete mayhem. God, Carol Starfelt. Imagine if Carol Starfelt does go to Como. Oh, I did notice the one thing tonight. There was a Greg Taylor's missus put up a picture on Instagram that was Ryan Christie's wedding, and there was a good few ex-Celtic. I tell you, it was like a Celtic reunion. It was like a Celtic reunion with ex-players ex-Celtic players in the picture. It was unbelievable. Right, let's get to Celtic and see if we can get a picture of Callum Mac with another trophy. Nope. I've just put about Gustaf Lagger Belke. Good luck, Gustaf. Good luck, Gustaf. I feel for that lad. Like, I mean, he was at the time he was the only player to score from a corner with a header, and he just didn't seem to get a chance at Celtic. Anyway, 25 minutes in, let's jump into some of the. Okay, Baz, maybe not the Adidas Cup. Yeah, I think they'll have two. Celtic have, according to a journal, Andrew Joseph's been in talks with Napoli's. Yeah, Liam, that's old news. I've been talking about that for about 3 videos. Giuseppe Ambrosini. But another club have bid 3 million. Celtic want him on loan, but another club have put in a bid for 3 million. Keep up, mate. I'm joking. Also noticed that John Kennedy actually said something to Brendan. Did he? Did he actually talk? Is on Facebook. The Celtic picture. Oh, it's going so slow. No, I've not seen a picture of Callum Mac with the trophy. Not on Facebook. Anyway, I'm sure we'll see it in the morning. Breaking news: Cork want a rematch because they invaded the pitch. I've been off grid, so on the catch up. Oh man, that's just disappear off grid altogether. That's the easy life, isn't it? Anyway, your breaking Celtic news tonight is Celtic were not presented with the Cork Cup tonight because of a pitch invasion by the Irish. Those pesky Irish were going on the pitch. Gustaf Lagger Belke has officially left Celtic. Brendan Rodgers was asked before the game this evening whether there was any impending incomings or outgoings. Brendan Rodgers is a sly fox, isn't he? Because during the first half, at half time in the match, Gustaf Lagger Belke took to Instagram and posted this picture on Instagram saying that that's him. He'd like to thank everyone at Celtic for the last couple of seasons. The Celtic put out a statement after the game this evening saying that Gustaf Lagger Belke had left. It's a case of decreasing numbers at Celtic. It's a typical pre-season game, and it's just typical pre-season shite second game football. That's all we witnessed tonight. Onwards and upwards to the next one. And on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are.